Blood, blood, blood!
Are you tired of telling your friends about that weird plot hole in Encanto? Well, don't worry, pal, we believe you, and we've got your back in this list of Disney's biggest plot holes ever. Number 1. They say they don't talk about Bruno, but they really should have talked about Bruno a bit more. And we've got to talk about Dolores too. So Mirabel's cousin Dolores can't keep a secret for 5 minutes at a dinner, but has been hearing Bruno in the walls for how many years and never bothered to mention it to anyone until after everything happens and just in passing?
She's gonna tell everyone.
Number 2. This problem is a little more than allegorical. So in Zootopia, we argue that prey aren't actually prejudiced to be afraid of carnivorous animals.
Now, predator and prey live in harmony.
Let us explain. In the metropolis of Zootopia, prey live peacefully alongside predators, a minority representing just 10% of the population. The movie's racial allegory reinforces for good reason that it's wrong for a majority to irrationally fear an oppressed minority. But that important message is undercut by the fact that, unlike the unfairly maligned real-world populations they represent, predators are by their nature inclined to be dangerous to the prey that they hunt to survive. So in trying to say something important, the film almost veers into being offensive.
It was a classic doing the wrong thing for the right reason kind of a deal.
Number 3. Big Hero spoilers ahead. So the majority of the plot in Big Hero 6 hinges on the loss of Abigail Callahan, who was shot into a portal as part of a teleportation experiment, leading the government to shut down the experiment because it went wrong. This leaves Abigail lost in the void between the teleportation portals. What's most frustrating about this is that the government was so quick to shut down a multi-billion-dollar project with incredible potential just because of the loss of a single person. Comes to real government projects, especially something of this magnitude, it would be expected that human lives may be lost, much like the exploration of space. A single lost life probably wouldn't have caused the government to shut down an experiment of this nature in real life. Number 4. Snowmen are capable of love, and we're here to prove it. In the first Frozen film, Olaf says he is not leaving the fireplace until they find a way to help Anna and her chilly disease. And love, as defined by the movie itself, is self-sacrifice. This means Olaf's act of love, risking his existence to help, should have cured her frost sickness.
Olaf, you're melting.
But we're not done with this film yet, oh no. Also, when Anna leaves to find Elsa, she leaves Hans in charge of the kingdom, and he seems to be a pretty good leader for the most part. So why do the villagers cheer when she decks him later in the film? They had no idea that he's actually a creepy bad guy. Only the main characters would have known that. Number 5. This franchise has an infinity and beyond of plot problems. First, why doesn't Woody ever mention his previous owners, or seem to remember them at all? And why doesn't he realize that he came from an old TV show? In Toy Story 2, it's revealed that Woody has been in Andy's family for years and that he comes from a 1950s television show. If that's the case, then there's no doubt that Woody would have had an owner before Andy, even if it was within the same family. It is then revealed in Toy Story 3 when Andy gives his toys to Bonnie that Woody won't forget Andy when he's transferred to a new owner. This confirms that there's no reason for Woody to have forgotten his owner before Andy. And while we're at it, let's talk about Buzz Lightyear's toy brain too. If Buzz Lightyear doesn't think he's a toy, why does he freeze around children like a toy should? Number 6. This might be the most annoying plot hole of all. So in The Little Mermaid, we know that Ariel can read and write since she signs Ursula's contract. So when she meets Eric, why doesn't she search for a quill and a parchment or even write in the sand? You don't have a voice, but you have a brain, Ariel. Let's get it together. Number 7. A film about magic that has inconsistencies? Who would have thunk? We argue the character Charlotte should have turned into a frog at one point. This is because she kissed Naveen after midnight. Prince Naveen needs to kiss a princess in order for him and Tiana to turn from frog back to human. Charlotte steps up to the plate since she is a temporary princess as her dad had been crowned king of Mardi Gras. But Charlotte doesn't kiss Naveen until after midnight, when she is technically no longer a princess. Charlotte, therefore, should have also turned into a frog. Number 8. This plot hole is a famous one, and we're here to keep its legacy going. In Monsters, Inc., Mike says he and Sully met in the 4th grade, but this essentially is canceled out by Monsters University when they meet for the first time in college.
James B. Sullivan.
Mike Wazowski.
Number 9. Our greatest wish is for someone to explain this next loophole. In the animated Aladdin film, his wish to become a prince is granted, so there shouldn't be a royalty issue with Princess Jasmine based on those rules the Sultan quotes. Aladdin uses his second wish to become a prince, and that wish is granted. However, for some reason, Aladdin either forgets or doesn't accept that he's become a prince, because he keeps bringing up the fact that Princess Jasmine can only marry a prince. But he asked to become a prince. The wish was granted. The work is done. That should be the end of it. The genie should have explained this to him, but it seems Robin Williams was too busy improvising lines to follow the logic, we guess. Number 10. A little zoological inconsistency for you animal lovers out there. In The Lion King, some anteaters show up for a visual treat in I Just Can't Wait to Be King. But why do anteaters which are native to South and Central America show up in The Lion King, which takes place in Africa? Your move, Disney. Number 11. Oh, Cinderella, have we got some problems, my friend. First, why did Prince Charming have to search far and wide for Cinderella and check every single woman's foot in the kingdom? If this guy was searching for the love of his life, wouldn't he at least have remembered her facial features and that she was blonde? That ought to knock off some potential wives you were interviewing for the job. Next up, everything that the fairy godmother transformed comically reverted back to its original state at the stroke of midnight, except Cinderella's glass slippers. And why didn't they turn back? Plot convenience. That's why. And here's another thing. How is it possible that literally no other woman in the kingdom had the same shoe size as Cinderella? Had they done what they did, there'd be hundreds of thousands of women who were Cinderella. Another argument against monarchies. Number 12. For a guy who just learned English, he's got a lot of Brooklyn in him. In the film Tarzan, if Jane and her family are from London and they teach Tarzan English, why does Tarzan speak with an American accent? He doesn't speak much to them, but not only is his English pretty great, it very clearly has no British accent at all. Not even a gorilla accent or a chimpanzee. Seems like an oversight on the part of the voice cast.
I will miss you, Jane.
Number 13. If you thought we were going hard on Cinderella, just wait for our take on Beauty and the Beast. First, in Beauty and the Beast saves Belle when she's being attacked by wolves in the forest and collapses. The next time we see him, he's on the back of Belle's horse. So here's the question. How did Belle get him on there? Did she seriously lift the collapsed beast from the floor all the way onto her horse? Does Belle have super strength? We're just left to assume that Belle is a superhero. Or maybe she's just like super into CrossFit. Could you imagine Belle reading her books one minute and then flipping tires the next? Also, at one point in Beauty and the Beast, Mrs. Potts tells her son Chip to get in the cupboard with his brothers and sisters. Yeah, those teacups you see back there, they're Chip's siblings apparently. But at the end, we really only see Chip transformed back into a human. What happened to all the other teacups? Are they stuck as teacups? Is Chip just the favorite kid? So many questions.
Do I still have to sleep in the cupboard?
Here's another one, and it's a bit nitpicky, but that's what we're here for. Despite being told numerous times not to go to the west wing of the castle, why does Belle go anyway? And then have the guts to act surprised when the beast is mad at her for doing so. Now, we don't make a habit of defending people who imprison us, but I mean, Belle is meant to be pretty clever. Number 14. Another reason kings are so overrated. So in the film Hercules, Hades sends his minions to make sure Hercules no longer lives after drinking some poison. Hercules is alive and lives a pretty happy life for at least 16 years. So in all those 16 years, Hades is still somehow surprised Hercules is alive, even though the whole underworld and the subject of non-living is his job. He didn't have any time to check incoming shipments or any of the spreadsheets they probably have down there. Those were all our favorite and most egregious plot holes that we noticed. Any you noticed over the years that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for more animated content. And thanks for watching The Things Animated.